to you now. All right, Claudia, just introduce David and then just send the video, and then David will write to you after that. All right, and please, afterwards, you'll have Q&As. Same thing that David doesn't understand. Just remember, just ask him as many questions as you possibly can. Go ahead, Dave.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Okay, our brother David Hemmings is a man of God, a father, husband to one wife, Vanessa, and fitness enthusiast who has spent years spreading the good news of fitness and God by modeling, teaching, and encouraging a healthy lifestyle that benefits the body, mind, and soul. As a personal and group fitness instructor, he finds joy in changing the lives of his clients one session at a time, bringing a smile, word of encouragement, and sometimes a hard approach in order to get the job done. As a Christian, he is challenged daily to spread the gospel through the music of his dance and aerobic sessions, and continues to do so tonight to the glory of God. He has been in corporate fitness since 2006.
Thanks, Claudia. Over to you, Jess.
Alright, good evening everyone. David Hemmings here. Mostly know me. If you don't know, I am a Christian, son of Assembly Hall, earthly son of Frederick and Donna Hemmings. I'm here this evening to present to you both in word and both in actions the benefits of living a healthy lifestyle, alright? And so I want you to get active with me today. I want you to put aside the inhibitions, your fears about what movement is like, and I'm going to do my best to make it functional for all age groups. Alright, so stay with me. I'll be playing a bit of music. As long as you're moving, that's what matters most. Alright, there will be repetition because in exercise we need repetition in order for the body to register it, in order for the body to develop. Alright, so I'm going to take you through some exercises that you can do on a day-to-day basis. If you look behind me, I have a chair. I have what can be represented by a mop stick. So you can screw up your mop sticks, alright, and use them, or if you have one already. And I have two canisters here which also can be represented by water bottles. Alright, so get your kit ready and let's get ready to move. Alright guys, welcome back. So we're starting with the water bottles or canisters, whatever you have that can substitute, make it work, alright? So simple arm exercises you can be standing or seated. Follow me here, up, down, exhale, inhale, exhale as you come up, 4 more, 3, 2 more, 1 more. Very good. Here. Push up. Exhale. Exhale. Keep pushing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 more. Go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Watch me now. The arms will get tired. In and out. Exhale. Inhale. 3, 4 more. After 4 more, we'll go faster. If you can't, keep this pace. Ready, set, let's go. 8, 7, 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll the shoulders out. So we consider 1 set. In 4, 3, from the top. Curl here. 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 5, 6, 7, 8 more, let it come, go, 1, 2, you don't have to rock fancy like me, you can stand, 4 more, so don't be shy, move with me, 2, and 1, right here, push up, 2, 3, 4, if you can't go fast, and just take it slow, 8 more, just like this, 7, keep going, 6, 4, 2, and 1. Right here, elbows in. 1, and out. 2, and out. 3. So whether fast or slow, go. 4, 5. When we get to 8, we'll go faster. 6, 7, and 8. Faster now. 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll the shoulders forward. Very good. Third set right here. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or you can go slow. 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push up. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Slow it down now. 8, 7, 6, 5. I know 4. Even I'm sweating just a little bit. 2, and 1. Start slow. 8. Elbows in and out. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. 1 more. Down faster. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll the shoulders out. What's important is...
All right, Angie. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so that's just a taste, and we'll post a link to that full video, so you can follow it. And that's one of the main things David does. He runs exercise classes. All right. So no more from me. Let's hand over to David Hemmings, and he'll just walk us through his presentation, and then we'll have some Q&A. Over to you, David. Unmute, David. Unmute.
All right, thank you very much, Jermaine. Thanks everyone for taking the time out to at least listen to what will be said here this evening. As was said earlier, my name is David Hemmings. I see a few names that I remember from my time actually being there and otherwise. Yeah, the background is accurate. I've been passionate about health and fitness for most of my life. Father was a footballer, or I should say is a footballer, because you never lose that. And then, I started the gym pretty early. And, the gym is about a myriad of things, not just, how you look, but really, just trying to get a better version of you. And that developed and grew into me becoming more aware of the need that exists outside of where I was. And that's how I got involved in corporate fitness, right? So I started going to companies because not everybody there was in a gym. And it was more suitable to bring a package, a whole wellness package, which includes how to eat right, exercise in the actual classes, and motivating persons to see the importance of living a healthy lifestyle. And so, it's been over a decade for me, and it never gets old. I believe, as the theme suggests, that, our bodies are important. And as a Christian, I know that the body is the temple of God, as Norma alluded to. And so we ought to take care of it. I don't know the stats, but too often, it's too late before persons start to think about exercise, think about eating right, think about, just having a holistic approach to living healthy, right? And I'm glad that we're all here today. I figure some persons are already on the path. If you're not already on the path, then my encouragement to you is it's never too late, right? Even when the doctor says you need to start, then, it's you still have hope, right? I have a presentation that will be made available as well. I pretty much started off this presentation some years ago talking about a killer that is on the loose. We talk about crime being a serious problem in Jamaica, but there is a killer called, well, AKA CDL, which is chronic disease of life. It takes over 50% of lives in Jamaica yearly. Matter of fact, you could say that it kills more people than crime, right? The Ministry of, back then it was health, now health and wellness, you know, they're on a serious drive to ensure that people understand, you know, that this is serious. So I asked the question, do you know what chronic disease of life is? Have you seen it in your life or in the lives of others around you? So pretty much I'll define it. The next slide goes into it. It says that chronic disease of life is a group of diseases that share similar risk factors due to years of unhealthy diets, right? And so the practices include, and I won't allude this to the church, but I'll still mention it, smoking, because you may know persons who smoke and say, hey, it's not a problem, my grandfather smoked until he was 90. But this is a risk factor, lack of exercise and stress. Yes, something as simple as stress, right? Apologies, right? Something as simple as stress, right? Risk factors as a result of these practices, these years, whether it is years of practice or in some cases it's hereditary, include high blood pressure, addiction to tobacco and nicotine, high blood cholesterol, diabetes, and obesity, right? And so we see where, due to our actions, right, we end up with factors that can lead now to what we call chronic diseases. And some of these diseases are heart, right, heart-centric, leading to either stroke or heart attack, as we more commonly know, one of the factors. We see cancers becoming more apparent, more obvious in today's society. We have chronic respiratory diseases, as well as diabetes comes up again, right? It's compounding how we live our lives and the end results, right? And typically we don't think about it early enough. Truth be told, I wasn't thinking about living a healthy lifestyle at age 13. I just wanted to start the gym, and I did. And after being in the gym for so long, you know, it became about helping others. At a younger age, people may think, hey, I don't need to worry about diabetes, hypertension, but think of it as an investment, right? As you get older, which I am progressing, you know, you learn that how you eat, how you exercise or don't exercise, some of the practices you have, whether you allow stress to be a daily factor in your life, these all affect you, and these can manifest into chronic diseases. All right, we can move on to the next slide. All right, so the question is, and I don't want us to just focus on the problem, because there's a solution. So how do we stop this from taking more lives? How do we stop this killer from claiming, you know, members of our family or friends, and so on? We're now in a pandemic where COVID has, they call it comorbidities. I don't know if I pronounce that right, but it's spelled COMM, right? Where all these underlying risk factors that we're talking about, as well as the chronic diseases, are the factors when somebody who has caught COVID may very well end up accelerating their death. And that's serious. So not only do we have chronic diseases that's already taking lives, we have it as an underlying or a coexisting risk to persons who may contract other diseases such as COVID. And so we need to figure out how to combat this. And my answer here is pretty simple. Some people will tell you that they've gone to the doctor and the doctor give them medication. But one thing that I've noted, I've worked at Heart Institute of the Caribbean, and I've worked with some of the best cardiologists in the world. And one of the most common recommendation, if prescription is a part of the solution, in addition to that, is nutrition and exercise. So I have here on the screen, eat right and exercise. They're both important and they both go hand in hand, right? I can tell you how serious the Heart Institute took it. Not only did they have the office where persons came in and were screened, did the echocardiogram or the stress echo, not only did they do heart surgery there, but they also had a wellness center, which was geared towards recovery, which was geared towards prevention and treatment. And this is all non-prescriptive. We're talking about the same factors here, eating right and exercising. All right, so I want to challenge you where it concerns eating right. We just looked at the video and you saw some exercises there. As Jermaine mentioned, he will make the video available. And if you want, you can reach out to me because I'm in the process of building content because I believe in just spreading and having impact where this is concerned. So eating right. Next slide. Here are some tips, right? And they're very simple. Yes, you can go to a nutritionist if your chronic disease is at a point where you need drastic changes in your life. See a nutritionist, I advise it. I've had clients that have been over 200 pounds and I've said to them, hey, see the nutritionist, come to me, I'll work with you on the physical aspect, on the exercise, and still guide you generally. But how you eat is important. So here are some basic tips. Eat slowly and enjoy your food. Now, I've been guilty of this at some stage in my life. I used to gulp down food, literally inhale it. My sister can tell you that she used to try and race me to finish dinner. And almost every time, as soon as I was done, I would eat another plate. Why? Because the body just didn't register that I ate. Slow down. Allow the body to process the food. Allow your mind to process the fact that you're eating and you're putting nutrition in your body so that it doesn't just become a sport as it was for me. The other tip is to avoid oversized portions. Now, one example I like to give persons, when we dine out and we eat out, a lot of the times the food portion that we get can feed 2 people, right? I didn't used to believe it, but I believe it now. Before I was married, for example, I used 2 eggs to make an omelette. I've now realized that 1 egg is enough, right? And that might not be on a scale of the portion I'm talking about, but take a plate of food that you get at a restaurant, look at the volume of rice you get, look at the volume of meat you get, and look at the minuscule portion of vegetables that you normally get. Right, what we have to do is start changing the size. So you go out and you buy a box food if you have to, fine. Cut that in half. Cut it in half. Eat some now, save the rest for later. Right, trust me, it will make the difference. Your body will adjust, your mind will adjust, and it gets better. Another recommendation, I spoke about the small portion of vegetables. Try to increase how much space on your plate is taken up by vegetables, right, or fruits. And I'm not saying eat fruits with rice and peas and chicken, but factor that into your day-to-day routine. If you're not able to have both every day, at least have one of each, right? Because these are the calories and the nutrients that actually positively assist your body in fighting against chronic diseases. Just to move on, prepare meals with less oil and salt. I think a lot of us have heard that. A lot of salt can feed hypertension, and we've been told that hypertension is a sniper. It's a silent killer. People have passed because of it and not know that this was a reason. Family members not know that this was a reason. All right, so cut back on the oil, cut back on the salt. All right. Eat healthier snacks. And here's what I mean. You can snack. People tend to talk about dieting, and I'll be honest with you, you don't have to starve yourself. You don't have to cut your portion so small that your body is struggling to keep up. One of the issues that I take with dieting is that you reduce how much calories you take in, how much food you eat for a time, and you will see the result. I see you, Jeremy. You will see the results. Your body will shrink. You will lose the weight, lose the inches. But once you have finished that diet and you're trying now to figure out how to eat normally, notice I said normally, not even healthy. By the time you start eating normally, your body starts to put on back that weight. All right, so what you want to do is eat. Eat healthier snacks. So here's how you do that. It's okay to have pastry, it's okay to have ice cream every now and then, but don't let every time you have it, that's what you have it. Mix it up with a pineapple, fruits that are in season, mix it up with apple. You understand what I say? Make yourself a fruit salad, for example, or a smoothie, right? Eating and drinking naturally is important, and that feeds into the next point, which says drink less beverages and more water. Water is life. Over 70% of our body weight is water, and most of our organs need it in order to function, right? And so drink water. If you feel thirsty, you're dehydrated, right? When you're hydrated, your body don't have time to tell you it's thirsty. And so it's important. I typically would have a bottle of water with me everywhere I go. And it takes time for habits to become a part of the norm. But I can tell you, the more you work at it, the more it will become a lifestyle. And I want to interject by saying that, as the topic suggests, that I started with living a healthy lifestyle, it's not a short-term goal. It's not something you're doing to either look good or just fight off this chronic disease for now. You're not trying to beat it. What you want to do is start practices that will stay with you for life, right? And to that end, I can tell you, I've seen it, right? Persons my age, persons who are older, who have been practicing what they need to practice, doing what they need to do, they are living longer, they are living better. The quality of life, they're making less trips to the doctor, and you're not taking medication that they don't need to, right? And these are the things that matter. The last one speaks for itself. Try not to eat before the TV. I'm not saying it's an exclusive rule, but here's the reason why. When we have entertainment, we forget that we're eating. And so it's very easy for us to become distracted, and we're there watching the TV, and like, oh, the food finished, and out of comfort, and so you go for something else, and it spirals. Imagine years of that, you know. And so these are some general tips to eating right. I want to address the 3 W's, which is the next slide, on eating. All right, so let me run through this as quickly as I can. What do you eat? All right. Typically, people come to the gym, people try to work out because they want to lose weight. And so a general idea is that in order to lose weight, consume less fat, right? So a healthier diet or a more portion diet should be cutting back on the fast food, fatty meats, sugary drinks, and foods that are high in calories. And we have to read labels here. Typically, I don't, but if you're in a position where a chronic disease is staring you in the face, then read the labels. Look at how much calories you're taking in and try to normalize it. All right, the next W is the when. There's a saying, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a poor man. Why? It stuck with me for years. Why? When you wake up, breakfast, if you break up the word, is literally breaking your fast. You'd have slept for anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, which means you haven't eaten in 8 hours. Now, there's a general rule about eating, which is try to have your meals anywhere from 4 to 6 hours apart. If you're going beyond that, longer than that between meals, then you're creating a habit that your body shouldn't be accustomed to, and it will start to manifest negative results from. So breakfast is important. If you have dinner probably at 7, 8 p.m. and breakfast, you're getting up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., you need to put some food in your system. And that's when you need the most or more nutritious, more portioned in terms of size, nutrients in your body to jumpstart your day. Otherwise, you may feel lethargic. Otherwise, you may start to slow down, and you don't want that to become your normal. All right. And the third W is why. And it goes back to eating. I said it earlier. Eat. People tend to think that in order to combat this thing, in order to lose the weight and combat obesity, which is one of the risk factors of chronic diseases, they need to start skipping meals, because guess what? And this is why I said what I said about some diets, right? You start to skip meals, the body recognizes that it's not getting enough nutrients, and so what it does, it starts to hoard. We call it starvation mode. In some persons, it's worse than others. I will talk about the stubborn belly fat. That's one of the examples of how the body hoards, right? It has become accustomed to you missing a meal. And so now it says, hey, you know what? Instead of me starving, I'm going to hold on to as much nutrients the next time I eat, so that I know for dinner and or breakfast, I have some nutrients left over to operate off of, right? And so it's important that we don't fall into the trend of not eating and skipping meals in order to lose the weight, but eat. It's just a matter of what you eat and how much of it you eat. All right, next slide. So onto my expertise. So I just did the nutritionist job, right? 30 minutes of exercise is what the Ministry of Health and Wellness recommends.
Wait, David, just before you continue, just want to ask if there are any questions on what you just presented about the eat. Any questions there from anybody? Any questions you may have? Eating portion of it. If not, we can go on. Any questions from anybody? Or comments?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead, Yannick. Angela, see your question. See your hand. Keep your thing on mute, Angela. Go ahead, Yannick.
Quick one for you, David. Is it possible, or is it okay to break up the breakfast? Because sometimes we've often heard it said that you should have a healthy meal in the morning, but sometimes it's really difficult to eat healthy that hour of the morning. Some of us get up really early. So is it advisable to break up the breakfast, like maybe something every 2 hours? I don't know. I would love your guidance here.
Yeah, that's a good point, Yannick. So because I was trying to get this, so that's one of the things. So I mentioned 4 to 6 hours between meals, and these are your major meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? But in between those meals, that's where your snack falls. And the thing about it is you can break up breakfast, and it becomes a snack in between breakfast and lunch. Right, there are some of us who, depending on your level of activity or how much breakfast you've had, as is this case, Yannick, by 2 hours after you've had that small meal or that meal, your body is telling you, I'm hungry. And it's okay to eat. Just like being dehydrated, you don't want to wait till the body tell you you're hungry. So if you're eating on a schedule, and I'll give you an example, bodybuilders and athletes tend to eat up to 5 meals in a day. And if you look at them, they don't look like they have on bad weight, right? I mean, they're bigger, yes, they're more muscular and so forth. But yes, you can break breakfast up. I can relate to that. If I get up at 4 a.m., it's hard for me to eat the way I eat at 7 a.m. But I still try to have something. So I'll either have, for example, oats as a shake, or I'll try to have a lighter sandwich, or maybe even half a sandwich and some water, or fruits. And so, yes, you can.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Jens. Angela, your question, and then David, back to you.
Yeah, like me now, I weigh 200 and something. Sometime in the morning when I leave, it's just a cup of tea that I might have as well as I might leave.
Yeah.
And then go to town and maybe get a cup of tea again. and I don't have lunch until dinner time, far as me concerned, because most time I don't get to move until about after 3 or to 4 or
Yeah.
after 4. That's soon time for me to come home.
Yeah.
So how am I going to work out that?
All right, so good question, and over the decade I've been doing this, what you've just outlined has been one of the most common issues across Jamaica. I can speak to Jamaicans, which is that most people miss breakfast, and it's usually because you have to travel, so you get up earlier on the move, and so forth and so forth. Um, if I can give you some tips I use or have used, not so much now, is I try to prepare meals in advance. So, for example, I've just cooked dinner. Some of that dinner is gonna be lunch tomorrow, and you have your container and you pack that out. Similarly with breakfast, if I know like I have to go somewhere really early, I do something that's easy to do, like I boil an egg. So from I get up, the same way the kettle goes on to make the tea, I have like a little tin, the Tetley, not Tetley, the tin that the powder tea come in.
Yeah.
When I that, I use that to boil one egg in, not a whole pot. Right? So when I'm going now, it's easy for me to grab a slice of bread, grab the hard-boiled egg, my water, and my tea, and I'm out the door. The point I'm making is that we have to take time and build back those habits. In your case, it's probably been a habit for years. And the change doesn't happen overnight. But the recommendation is you can carry lunch to work. What you may have to do is find a way to take the time, even if it's 10 minutes to eat for lunch. If you have to communicate to your supervisor or so, at the end of the day, just remember that it's your life, that is being benefited by it. And, yeah, so that was breakfast and lunch. Yeah, and you can carry other stuff, as Yannick asked about breaking up breakfast, or I spoke about snacking. Say you go market on the weekend, I say, all right, I'm going to buy a pine, I'm going to buy a hana banana, I'm going to buy these particular fruits and or vegetables, and you prepare them ahead of time too, and you pack them out. So even if it's the night before, you package it in a way that say if it's even on the bus or in your car, and I'm not promoting driving and but
Like
I
that car.
where I have had to learn how to drive at 4 a.m. because by the time I land at 4:30, it's go time, it's work. So it's just time. Don't be hard on yourself. What I would say to you additionally, carve out some time, and I'm gonna go into the exercise. Carve out some time to exercise, but get that schedule on track. And once you do, I can tell you, your body will start to show you a difference.
All right, thanks, David. Thanks for questions. Go ahead, David. Keep the flow.
All right, you're welcome. So exercise. There are different mediums nowadays. I think we're more fortunate today to have a wide array of access to exercise. So I'm wearing a t-shirt here that says Workout with Worship. And this was a fitness event staged in 2018, right? And this is just one of many. There are other trainers across the island who are in churches. There are other, and it doesn't even have to be a trainer. There are persons who are concerned and are practicing a healthy lifestyle. They're in the gym. They just have an affinity for fitness. You can identify that person in your church and you say, hey, how about once a week we come together, or once a month we come together and do something. The point is, where exercise is concerned, we have options. You can go on YouTube and look up videos. It was on TV when COVID just hit, where the Ministry of Health and Wellness had videos that they put out every day. At the end of the day, we're all different. Some people need a partner to work out. Some people are self-driven and motivated where their workout is concerned. Others just need the encouragement. But whatever it is, ensure that those around you understand that you're on this journey and they are your support. Whether it's your friends or your family or church, encourage each other, right? 30 minutes a day isn't 30 minutes 3 times a week is a minimum, but you find that once you start this, you may end up doing a whole lot more because this becomes a part of your journey. And I can tell you, it has benefits. So go on to the next slide for me. Let me see if it's there. But on the top of my head, I'll speak to some of them. If you are not sleeping at all, exercise. Trust me, you'll be lights out by 7 p.m. All right. if you're stressed, exercise because there's a chemical reaction in your brain. And two words come to mind: endorphins, serotonin. Right. These are happy feelings. They're chemical reactions that create a good mood, a positive mood in the body, right? And those are just some of the benefits, right? You'll see your body start to be reshaped. You will feel better. Your heart, which we spoke about heart disease and factors affecting the heart, your cardiovascular function will be better, right? You have people who their chest tightens up, they feel a pain in the chest, all because of the factors that are affecting them. And once you start to exercise, some of these issues start to resolve themselves, right? So exercise is important. You don't have to overdo it. There are some people who do really love exercise and they'll do it every day, all day. But if you can get a minimum of 3 days a week in, minimum of 30 minutes for those 3 days, it makes a difference. Go online, find a partner, go to a gym, sign up, do a class, whatever it is, as long as you're staying active. Walk around your community, jog around your community. There's too much for us to do, and all we have to do is just put one foot in front of the other and keep going. And that's my recommendation. All right. If there are any questions on that, I'll take them.
Thank you, David. A few questions. One is, what kind of exercise would you? How do you determine which exercise is appropriate for my age? Like, if you're 60, can you do the plank? So what? How does that work? And what kind of exercises would you recommend for the like 50 and over?
All right.
Question?
So I've been thinking about it, Jeremy, and it's a very interesting question, and I came up with an answer. I don't. It's not absolute, but I would say that the exercises you can do are determined by your mind and not your age. And why I said
not your body?
The exercises that you are able to do will depend on your mind.
Okay.
Firstly your mind and then your body.
Okay.
And why I said that, I have an uncle who's 70, who's been in the gym since he was probably in his 20s, and he still goes to the gym religiously. I've seen persons older than me, and I don't call 40 old to be honest, but
Nor do I.
fitter than even myself as a fitness trainer. And what I'm alluding to really is that what you practice is what you will see as a reward. And so it depends on you. You have persons who used to be athletes, you have persons who like the gym, who used to go to the gym. You have persons who have never exercised. And so the question really depends on you. You have persons who have injuries, persons who are too heavy, or whatever the case may be. So it's really a tailored approach. If you know you have injuries, you do non-impact exercises. So instead of jogging and running, you walk. Or you go to the pool, right? There's water aerobics. I think the YMCA offers that. Right? There are exercises that don't require you to negatively impact your joints. If you are somebody who has never exercised, I say start moderate. So whether you start walking, then you build up to a jog and walk, then you build up to a full jog. All the exercises that are available, if you're looking at YouTube, if you're in the gym, every move that is done can be modified. So for example, the video that I showed you, I can take the same moves and make them harder for somebody who needs more of a challenge. but I can take the same move and make it less strenuous for somebody who might have an elbow injury, a shoulder problem. You understand? So it's really just about listening to your body and working through. Right. So for example, if you're working out and you feel pain, bad pain, stop. If you're doing it by yourself, stop. If you're doing it with a trainer, let them know, hey, this hurts. Right? They're supposed to modify. By the end of the day, the variety, it ranges anywhere from jogging, swimming. You do it if you can't swim, waist height, water, workout, cycling, whether on the road or in a gym, on the stationary bike or at home. I know Court sells some stationary bicycles. You name it. There are many disciplines that persons can benefit from. And it's just a matter of trying something and you will find what works for you.
All right, good. All right, I have a few questions. Any questions from you guys? Any questions that you want to ask David? What about exercise? How about how do you get started? All right. You mentioned one thing, David, about one of the areas that's kind of stubborn is the belly fat.
Yes.
Once that gets there, what would you recommend to handle the belly fat?
You know, Jermaine, I'll confess to you, I struggle with this. I've always struggled with it. I've only ever had a 6-pack once in my life, more like an 8-pack once in my life. And that was when I was training for the army. And I can tell you, the regime of eating and exercise that I went through to attain that result is not sustainable. I'm not saying that not to give you hope. What I'm saying is, and I'll give one more point before I try and give the solution. In women, more recently, I've been reading, I haven't really verified it fully, is that a lot of women are ashamed of what we call a paunch, which is the lower part of the abdomen. And so we'll see even women who are really slim and they have a slight paunch down there. And what is said now is that it's natural. Persons are really trying to cut that off, talking about surgery and all of that when it's a normal part of how we progress. But needless to say, we have belly fat that is stubborn. It starts with how you eat. So whether you're slim and that's the only issue, or you're not, you're probably more whole-bodied and that's the issue. It starts with how you eat and then how you exercise. So cutting back on sugars, cutting back on fats for sure. Once your body starts to reshape itself and you get to the part where the belly fat is the last of it, right, then that's where you start to tweak and make changes to how you exercise, right? Because you have done a lot where eating is concerned to reshape the body. And so exercise is mainly two things, cardiovascular exercises, and that's really like aerobic activity, whether it's an actual aerobics class, jumping jacks, knee highs, stuff like that gets your heart rate up, because you still need to work the entire body. People who come into the gym and say, I just want to get the 6-pack, but really and truly, you have to work the entire body. But the second thing is focusing on abs, right? There's a variation of abdominal exercises that are available online. You can see diagrams, charts.
See Angela, see you.
And videos. But what I will say is you can actually get abs on top of a belly, right? And if you want proof, just Google bodybuilders, right? Their girth is bigger than the average person and they have 6 and 8 packs. So that's why I mentioned the cardio earlier, because you want to ensure that, you have a weight loss factor in there. But give it time, because the belly didn't come on overnight. And I think that's one of the things that gets frustrating when people are trying. And they're like, boy, this don't look like it's going anywhere. Or they've attained the goal and then they stop doing what they did to get there.
See. All right, a few questions, but Angela, go ahead.
Yeah, David, me know, we have,
Joseph, Andrew, you can go ahead, Andrew. Go, sorry.
yeah, me, I will have my 1 pack. That's the belly pack, don't mess up, right? I might have arthritis. Me can't do the jumping jack and all of them stuff. So tell me how me gonna work out the part there.
All right, so this is where water becomes your friend. So, you know,
Oh, I
I
drink
mentioned
water.
earlier,
I love water.
say again.
She love
I
water.
love water. I love water. Because even right now, I can show you. I have a bottle of water here with me, sitting
Oh,
and drinking. Me just
yeah.
love water. As one done, me take up one.
Now, what I meant, and water, pun intended. So, the water that you drink, but the water that you actually go into, like a pool. Right. So you mentioned arthritis, and that would be a condition that I would recommend that you have some supervision to show you the variation of moves that are allowed for you when you're not in water and on land. But when you need to get right your heart rate up in a safe manner, I can tell you nothing really beats the pool. And I
Our
promote
beach.
it at this point.
The sea. I understand about the sea because when I'm in the sea, I really don't feel it.
Yeah, yeah, because
And
the
when I used to swim
water takes
regular, I
you
didn't
away.
have a belly.
Right, so the water takes you away.
But
So
you can't
there,
get to
there
swim again.
find safe
Wait,
versions
Angela.
of working out for your condition, right? But you can, and that's what I said earlier. With you can modify everything. Is so a jumping jack. Let me show you, for example. I'll just do a quick demo on this. So a jumping jack, which is impact, can be modified by doing this. Step into the side. So the only thing that changes is impact. You're not jumping, but you're still stepping to the side, and the hands are still working, right? And in everything that you do where exercise is concerned, if you are able to modify that for you so that it stays safe, whether you're on your own or you Google it or a trainer assists you, you can get there. You can get there.
What about
Thank
if
you.
I use the gate, like holding on the gate and maybe stoop like
All right,
I might
so
get low.
important. So that would supervise. Why I said that. You might start to stoop and then your knees. Whether I'm not sure if it's a cartilages in your knee
It go
about.
crook. It go
For
crook.
example, you're going to start here the creaking, and then you have that pressure.
It go crook.
So no, a modification of that could be in the pool, you hold on to the ledge of the pool and you do the same thing. But now you're in the pool and your weight not on your knee and your ankles and your joints, and it's easier to do. Right? But I can't just tell you, it would be better to show you, it would be better to be there and say, all right, here are a list of 8 to 10 exercises you can do. And in absence of that, you can always Google it. You say exercises with arthritis, and you can pinpoint the problem you're having, and they'll show you. They say, all right, this is safe to do. For example, instead of stooping, you can raise the knee. One leg at a time, raise the knee. Right? And so what you find is that you're not bending and carrying your weight down, but you're isolating the leg and lifting the weight up. But you're still working the same muscles. All right.
Thank you, Angela. Any questions from
I have a question
Go ahead, Marcia.
concerning the belly fat, which is my biggest
Poor belly fat. Got a bad name. Go on, Marcia.
Is it true that after a certain age you cannot lose it, and if you lose it, say you're over 50, when you lose that belly fat, do you have the capability of it tightening up again?
All right. So the first question, you can lose it at any age. The body is so phenomenal. I've seen it. I've learned it. That it's all about the work that you put in. Once you put in the work that will gain you or get you to a certain result, your body will show it. So I don't know if you remember, there was a trend where they had this hot grandpa, um, where they were showing this older gentleman who pretty much had the body of a 20-year-old. There are people out there who are defying the general assumptions about what you can and can't do at a certain age, which is why I said it's more defined by your mind, and then whatever physical limitations you have, you can accomplish losing that weight over whatever age or number you put at, unless you can't move at all, you're at a stage where you're not mobile. And then yes, there is a possibility of it coming back. The truth is, at any age it can come back, because as I said earlier, the weight is defined by how you eat and how active you are. So the only difference is that the older we get, is easier it comes back. And why? If I think back, my 13-year-old self, my 20-year-old self, even my 28-year-old self was much fitter than my 33-year-old self. Right? I had a higher metabolism, which is why. So I could jump up and down for 1 hour, and my body will keep burning fat for hours after. Now, I jump up and down for 1 hour, I'm not burning the same amount of fat. So now I require more activity or more variation of activity, something to change it up so that my body doesn't get used to this, right? That being said, yes, you can put it back on, but you can still lose it. It just depends on what you're willing to put in. And I want to make this point, given that I'm there. One of the things that I said to my clients, because it's easier for us to look at our bodies, we'll find flaws for days. You know, my chest not big enough, my arm too flabby, our one pack is very easy, and other people do it for us too, which makes us very conscious about ourselves. I tend to tell my clients when they come in, no matter what their goal is or how much weight they want to lose, don't stress the numbers. Living a healthy lifestyle is about the journey. And if you stay on the journey, whatever version of you your body produces, be happy with it. So you might not get the results you want, the way you want it. Somebody will come and say, I want to look like Beyonce. They might not have a Beyonce frame, you understand? But at the same time, the body has progressed to a healthy frame, right? So don't stress the numbers, don't stress the inches, don't stress the weight. Just know that what you're doing is going to benefit your health. And I can tell you, it will motivate you to stay on the journey, and over time, because as I said earlier, it took time to get here. Over time, you will have the best version of you.
Yeah,
Thanks, David.
Question.
Go ahead, Richie. Yeah, one last question. Go ahead, Richie. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
David,
I have a question,
here,
Jimmy.
how are you doing?
That's it, David. Go
Back
ahead.
here. All right, I find that apple cider vinegar tends to boost my metabolism. Would you recommend, can you recommend any other supplement or food even that can help persons to burn energy to boost their metabolism?
Great question.
All right. I'm not as versed on that. You know, I've worked with the same physicians who've recommended apple cider, also cut the appetite. But I don't know, I wouldn't be able to tell you to take a particular supplement. And one of the reasons is, for me personally, I like to do it as natural as I can. But what I would say is, once you're eating what is natural, cut back on the process, have more fruits and vegetables, especially more water. These are some of of shedding that laziness in the body.
Good. All right, go ahead, Claudia.
All right,
Thanks,
David.
Thank you, Jane.
My question had to do with, there are some of us who tend to be on the slimmer side. And so if we exercise, it's not about losing weight. We actually don't want to lose weight. What do you recommend we do to still maintain some level of activity and stuff, but yeah.
Right, right. And yeah, so that's one of the regular counters we'll get as well. Whenever I go into a company or a gym, well, not a gym, a company, and you'll have persons who, as you said, they're slim, and they say, "Oh, I don't need exercise." Not that you said that. I just bring this in. And so the point is that, you know, and why I say healthy lifestyle is we're enveloping the idea that chronic disease of life doesn't discriminate, right? It's not just about obesity. You have persons who are slim who based on hereditary factors, and still they might not necessarily be eating the way they should, how they should, when they should. The exercise is still a part of the solution. And so the answer is this: there are persons who are slim who want to gain muscle. There are persons who are slim who just don't want to lose the weight they have, right? And this is where the particular exercise comes into play. So if you don't want to lose, you don't have to think too, what should I say, extensive, right? So you can do some cardio, you do some weight training, you can jog, you can cycle, you can swim. Your activity, this is where I believe that this person would fall in the minimum category of the recommendation by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, where 3 days a week, you're good to go. 30 minutes, 3 days a week, you don't need a lot. Whereas there are other persons who may need more activity, may need to go up to 6 days a week in order to achieve a particular result. The same with gaining weight. The question was asked about boosting metabolism, and there are products that help to gain weight, gain more particularly muscle mass, right? Protein powder and all these things, eating more food, lifting heavier weights. It's really just about what the goal is. So in your case, if you say you don't want to lose the weight you have, just keep it to a minimum, but stay active. Stay active.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. One last question before you go is, I'm sure in your line of work, you may see people who really miss the balance. In other words, they put so much emphasis on how they look, and it becomes all consuming, and that can be dangerous. Respond to that, and how do we as Christians just avoid that, just avoid just missing the balance, and then we prioritize how we look above everything else?
All right, that's a very good question. I think it comes back to our mindset, understanding that, you know, I'll say this as an exercise person. When you get obsessed about the body and results, it consumes you. I've seen it. And what you want to do is step back from that. All right. So that's why I said earlier, don't become too obsessed about the numbers, because the numbers lead to the results, and oh, I need to keep looking like this. We ought to have balance in our lives. So what I'd say is check yourself, check your mindset. And as children of God, we have the Holy Spirit that lives within us to help us to check ourselves. So if we realize we're not doing well checking ourselves, then you know, pray about it, one, but accountability too. So you have your spouse, you have your family member, you have your neighbor. Just say, hey, listen, if you see me overdoing this thing, let me know. All right. Balance is important in everything, and I've said it because I've seen persons go to the extreme, trying to gain muscle mass, which is why I do things naturally. Trying to gain muscle mass or trying to lose weight, and going to the extreme, it doesn't, the effects don't last, and the repercussions are heavy. So I've seen persons who took protein powder, for example, to get big, and they stop working out, and they have a lot of body fat now. I've seen persons who starve themselves or cut back on the diet, the calorie intake too much to lose the weight, and then when they go back to working out normally, they blow up even bigger than they were before. And so that has really humbled me to see those things happen in the field that I'm in, and to just recognize that, one, even though your body is not perfect, you have to love it, right? And part
Good.
of love means accepting it for what it is and
Mm.
want to improve it to make it the best version of itself. And if that's in your heart and that's in your head, then I believe that you'll have a better balance.
Cool, cool. Thank you so much, David, on behalf of Holloway. We are grateful for you taking the time. If there any last closing question or comment, we have 4 minutes. I'll take it now. If not, we just close. Any last closing question or comment from anybody? All right.
Yes, Jeremy.
Go ahead.
I'd just like
Davin?
to ask, yes, what is
Mm.
the average amount of calorie to maintain your body weight per day? How you work that out?
I think off the top of my head about 2,000, right? But again, numbers are subjective, so it depends on your body type. It depends on your level of activity in terms of not exercise, but your day-to-day work. So if you're getting up earlier and you're working longer days, you may need more. Or you understand, or if your job is sedentary, you may need less. So the average is about 2 for male and female. Sorry, females it varies. What I use again, because I try not to punch the numbers too much, is to look at having your 3 meals per day, having them in the right size or portion, and having them on time. So on time means 4 to 6 hours apart, having breakfast when you get up, snack in between if you need to, but ensure you eat according to the guideline.
It's good
Thanks,
to have
Davin.
a home
Go ahead,
weight.
Richie.
I'm just saying it's good to be able to monitor your weight consistently because the
Yeah.
weight tends to creep up on you unexpectedly.
It does.
Okay. So have
It
a
does.
scale handy.
Yeah. So good point. There are persons who having a scale will be of great benefit. So you see where the numbers and your clothes will tell you as well, inches. Typically the
Right.
inches move before the weight. As if you realize your pants waist getting tight, your skirt waist, your shirt in the arm, then it's a telltale sign that hey, I need to check myself.
Same. Thank you, David. Again, I hope this time was beneficial to us all. It's important to steward our bodies because we only get one body, and if we're to be busy serving God and serving people, we need to be healthy and up and about. So we are grateful to God for the body He has given us, this tent, and how He has made us. Yes, we're not perfect, but we pray for the grace that we'll accept how we are made and serve God with it. So thanks again.